right.
All right, should we?
Is that just my heartbeat?
All right. We ready to begin? Yep, all right. It having reached the hour of 5:33 p.m., I am calling the May 4th, 2021 Modesto City Council meeting to order and ask the city clerk to call the roll.
Council members Madrigal. Councilmember Madrigal. Councilmember Ricky.
Here.
Zalaki.
Here.
Canoyer.
She has a thumbs up.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Wright.
Here.
Escutia Brayton.
Here.
Mayor Swallen.
Here. Councilmember Wright, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes.
Followed by the invocation from Scott Elliott from Big Valley Christian School.
Ready?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for everyone who's gathered here today to lead our great city. Thank you for giving them a heart for the people of Modesto. I pray that they will lead from a place of courage and strength as they seek to do what is best for the people in our community. We lift up the families of those who've been affected by this pandemic and ask that you surround them with the support and the resources that they need. May Modesto be known as a place full of loving and encouraging neighbors. I pray for each council member to be wise in their decision-making and thoughtful in their discussions. Help them to be civil in their dialogue, creative in their thinking, and bold in their leadership. I pray that you continue to watch over Modesto and restore our health, businesses, and broken relationships. Help our city to be a shining light in this valley. I pray this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us and for that beautiful prayer. I have a brief statement to make this evening regarding the passing of Marie Gallo, a great leader in our community. We are grateful as a city and appreciate her civic involvement, both large and small. I was asked to give a personal reflection. She was so involved with many of our families, neighbors, and friends. One time she made a comment to my mother, and I recall my mother telling me that Marie said that our city was a gift to her family, that they could live as they desired in this community among us, and she considered that a great gift. She was our gift. I would like to have a moment of silence in Marie's memory. Thank you. Does the city clerk have any announcements?
Mayor, I have not received any emails regarding for public comment, and just please remember that public comment period is 3 minutes.
Thank you. Do any of the council members have any conflicts of interest?
No.
Seeing none, will the city attorney please report out on closed session?
Mayor, the council considered one item under closed session today dealing with existing litigation. No reportable action was taken. Staff was given direction.
Thank you. Next, we will have a presentation from Stanislaus County Board of Supervisors for update related to COVID-19. And we have Supervisor Graywall in person today. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, council members, City Manager Lopez, City Attorney Sanchez, City Clerk Lopez, and the whole team. Good to be back in person and seeing all of you. I'm glad that meetings are starting to come in person, and I think that allows for more public consumption or public, I had a loss on words, so yeah, more public input. So my COVID update, I think we feel, every time we feel that we're getting past it and things are getting better, then you see the numbers like today, we had 111 new cases yesterday, which was reported today. So, Stanislaus County is still seeing high COVID infection rates. And I think sometimes it gets lost on us because the state's doing well, other counties are doing well, and we are doing relatively better than we were in the winter, but it still remains to be an issue. Some of the discussions coming up, maybe some of you have read that the FDA is looking to even vaccinate people as early as 12 to 16-year-old. I haven't had that conversation yet with our public health director or the Office of Emergency Services, but I think that's something that will be a conversation that will be had in the coming days. So therefore, we're still holding vaccination clinics. However, anybody that you can really advocate to, convince to come and get vaccinated. As of this morning, the CDC reports that we have 129,506 residents that have been fully vaccinated. To put that in context, that's about 23.5% of our population. So I think we need to do a better job of getting people to come and getting the vaccination so our infection rates come down. We're starting to really hone in on communities and neighborhoods so we can take the vaccination sites or mobile clinics to them. So like this Thursday in Modesto in the airport neighborhood, which many of you on the council represent in district and the entire city, we'll be having one from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. At the community center next to Orville Wright, if I'm not mistaken. But that's going to be from 9 to 1, so anyone that you know of that hasn't been vaccinated. There is some hesitancy and reluctancy, especially in some parts of the city, that being one of them. So any outreach we can do and any advocacy we do, that would be a big help. And then at the Center Plaza also on Thursday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So still working hard at it and working diligently, but this is a team effort and everybody has to do it, so hopefully we can get more people vaccinated. If the governor's orders persist, I think we'll all be, somewhat normalcy in opening June 15th. But as far as the tier system, we're currently still in the red tier, which is one of the more restrictive tiers, and we're one of the few counties in the state that still are in that tier. And there's a lot of things that go with that, the amount of testing that's happening, the amount of infection rates, hospitalizations, ICU admittance. So a lot of that contributes to that, but nonetheless, we're still in the red tier. Just on a final note, today's International Firefighter Day. So over what's happened in the past year, if you see a firefighter or know a firefighter, maybe shoot them a note and give them thanks for all their service. And again, condolences to the Gallo family. We've lost a giant in Modesto as far as community service and community input. And lastly, may the 4th be with you. And thank you for letting me come and speak today.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your words. Next is public comment period. Does anyone wish to speak on any item under public comment? This is for items not on the council agenda, and each person has 3 minutes to speak.
Hi, we have one from Sebastian Jones.
All right. Welcome, Sebastian. You can speak right now if you'd like.
Well, hold on, Mayor.
Okay.
I've been in a meeting today. I gotta give you this paper here. The last one, he tell me wrong. This time I'm gonna stand look around. I want you to read it first and then give me your account.
Mr. Jones, do you want me to read your doctor's note out loud?
Yeah, I don't care, but it's up to the mayor.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you want me to read it, Mayor?
Sebastian?
No, just make sure that we have it.
Let's just make sure
Okay.
we have it. Mayor.
All right, we'll just keep it.
Well, you're gonna have to grant me some information. I mean, what I'm gonna do? You gotta grant it.
All right, would you like to go ahead with your comments?
We're okay with it now?
Sure.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council. Sorry for my lateness, but I sit on many boards. But anyway, I made it, thank God. So, I'm gonna start off, Mayor. I'm back on what I need to be back on. It's my committee, the Dr. Martin Luther King Committee. And I'm still fighting, I'm still standing ground. And hold on, there you go, I had to do it. Lord Jesus. But anyway, Mayor and City Council, y'all know for many years, you're new City Councilman, you touched a little bit. But Mike Rounds is trying to make a memorial for the only one, Dr. Martin Luther King. We're the only town, and while we gotta be so hard-headed, it is sad that we don't have a sign on the freeway to let the people know that Modesto has a Martin Luther King Park and Center and streets. I've been working tirelessly, diligently, door to door. This right here is a petition. Thousands of people right here. That whole neighborhood is covered, plus downtown are covered, North Modesto and South Modesto. And it reads a petition to rename, change of Miller's Park and Center to the one Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Park and Center. It need to be one name. Now, and I didn't like what the culture committee did to Mr. Jones. I sit there and wait patiently. And they're gonna split my agenda, my petition, because they was looking at a couple of, three people. One have not even been in this town 2 years. He don't even know who Reverend Martin Luther, he don't even know who is, Reverend, I'll get his name in a minute, I'll come back. That ran that King Kennedy Center well over 20 or 30 years. And we're not gonna disrespect the forefathers. I'm taking over from the forefathers that back in the 60s, they wanted that name. But y'all know how this town was when they was burning crosses over there in Pellendale. It took Councilman Richard Patterson, District 2, to put a stop to it. And I was part of that. But Reverend Monroe Taylor, most of 50% of the blacks on that side got their jobs through Monroe Taylor. Even from the DA office to the city, is because this man was integrating and he wanted that name. I even tried to compromise with them three people that know no better to put, well, let me say this. I'm quite sure everybody in this room, when they seen King Kennedy, they thought of John F. Kennedy. Yes, y'all did, and be honest, y'all did. Y'all didn't know nothing about Robert Kennedy. Y'all thought it was John F. Kennedy all them years. But when they found out that it was Robert Kennedy, and I've been knowing that, I did a survey some years ago, and I found out everybody thought it was John F. Kennedy. So I'm here today, Mayor and City Council. I need y'all to deepen y'all heart. I got money people standing by to get a 6-foot statue. You guys ain't got to pay for it because they want their name down on history. $25,000 donation to get their name to get this 6-foot statue so we can be completed. Now, this is a compromise. Now, I think it ain't nothing wrong with it. Is we take a plaque and we put the plaque on the side of the building somewhere of Robert Kennedy. That way we won't disrespect. And we name Dr. Martin Luther King Park and Center because he stands alone. Now come on. Mother Teresa stands by herself. Cesar Chavez stands by himself. Now why do this African American man has to share her name? It is disrespect. He loved all color. And you know what's so good about the District 2? It's so diverse. Man, it's, you know, I sit with the Cambodians, my monks. Y'all might have seen them in here. They're coming to support me. My Muslim brothers, they support Sebastian. They told me, when you need me, come on. I told them, hold on, let me gamble. And I'm gambling.
All right, Mr. Jones,
Is my 5 minutes up?
it's been, I think, even more than 5 minutes, but
Oh,
we'll just
well,
kind of wrap it up right
Let
here.
me wrap it up. I don't want to disrespect anybody. I'm going to say this, Mayor. I did a lot of hours in walking and talking to people on the door. I have Dolores Horte that was with with Cesar Chavez. She wrote, "It's by time." She knows about it, and she will be my guest speaker if I ever get it. She told me, son, I don't know why they call me these son now, but anyway, she says I would love to come and speak, and I would love to, for the city council to put everything on hold, the park, and let's get this center. I don't like what the Cortes Center did because they didn't know no better, because they didn't do no research. But I'm asking y'all, in the name of God, stand with Dr. King. I don't have nothing but a mouthpiece.
All right,
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank
I'm not
you.
going to disrespect.
No problem.
And I'm
Thank
sorry
you.
if my voice get loud. I have cancer. Forget it. I'm going to let you know. Yeah, it is. It's all good.
thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker, Allison Seaver.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I first want to give two humongous thanks to Jenny for getting the council to sing happy birthday to Trevor. You truly touched our heart with that. And Rosa for having your church do a mass in honor of Trevor. Just those two kind gestures really do make a big impact in us. But I still don't understand why it's taking so long to speak of cahoots and get something going with that. We truly need that in our town. It will save the town money. Instead of sending the police out, you can send the cahoots out. And instead of the police just dropping off what Bill Lockley will say, just some crazy people, when they actually just have mental health issues, they don't get just dropped off at the hospital. They will have somebody who's specially trained who can figure out what they truly need. And we need a civilian review board. It's pathetic that we have the police policing themselves. Why is that such a thing? Why are you guys so cool with that either? Why isn't more people frustrated about this stuff? And why are you guys council members so fine to have somebody who's so white privileged that they don't care and they will continuously show it, and who has zero balls? You want to go on TV and say your pathetic comment was not towards us, Bill? Bullshit. What you said disrespected every single family that has ever lost any type of family member from a police officer. Trevor died with his hands up. Breonna Taylor died sleeping. George Floyd died from leaving a store. Shane Sutherland died from trying to go home. And Angelo Quinton died in his own house. How many more names do I have to continuously say for you to realize what you said was so ignorant and showed how white privileged you truly are, that you do not see anything like this? Just because you haven't had a bad experience with the police does not mean every police officer is a good officer. Open up your eyes, and if you still can, do that step down. You are not for the people. The people need help. The people don't need to be called crazy. If I have depression, I'm not freaking crazy. And I hope none of your kids have any type of mental health, because if you think that they are crazy, poor your kids. And you need some serious help. Get this town cahoots and get this town a civilian review board until there's more Trevor Sievers. When are you guys going to open up your eyes? Thank you.
Thank you. I'm just going to give a reminder that we would all appreciate it, even though we feel very passionately about things, to keep our language in check. All right, next speaker, Darlene.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I also wanted to thank Jenny for singing happy birthday to Trevor. It meant a lot to us. And also Rosa, the Mass Sunday was beautiful and very heartfelt. I appreciate you both. I want to talk about cahoots, and I would love if City Council would hire an independent police auditor, preferably Michael Giannotto. An independent psychologist in hiring process of police officers. I would also want to make sure everybody knows that the City of Modesto is putting together a meeting forward together May 22nd, 9 to 4. Let's see. It'll also be on Zoom. It will be in the basement chambers of 10th Street, and to come talk about police reform and talk about stopping the gladiator mentality officers have and support justice for Trevor. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Ramon Rodriguez.
Can anyone hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. We can all hear you.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and fellow City Council members. I'm a little bit busy because I'm in another City Council meeting, but I'm going to take my time to explain. And still explain about police violence. It's been over 2 months that Alonso Nunez has been abused and beaten by 4 or 5 Modesto's police officers. And still, I haven't heard nothing, an update from Gillespie or anything's going on. And all I'm asking is, when are these officers are going to be held accountable? If you haven't watched the video carefully, one of the officers chokeholded. They have their legs on top of his chest. That reminds me of George Floyd, Angelo Quinto, and recently Mario Gonzalez. When is this going to be stopped? When are the officers going to realize that more of this use of force, killing people or injuring, and then putting up trumped up charges is going to make them better officers? These officers violated their oath, and they broke the police officers' code of ethics. Also, to Solowski or Gaslight-Slowski or whatever his name is, that advice that you told in the other meeting about the kids respecting the police, let me tell you, Alonso Nunez's 11-year-old nephew has been traumatized by the ordeal watching his uncle be beaten by 4 Modesto police officers. Does that advice still apply to him? Or the other kids seeing their family members or seeing a member of a community beaten up by police? What does that send a message? They're not going to respect police officers. They're going to fear because they know the police use violence. They're not going to be the nice guys around and being a respected member of a community. They're going to use force. And the toxic masculinity and the white supremacist attitude of police officers today, they're not a police officer of the 50s. The police officers of the 50s are not muscular or have AR-15s or tasers or bulletproof vests. That's all changed now. And still, we need a civilian review board ASAP, not later, but now, because when you're gonna realize when one resident or member of community in Modesto is gonna be being killed or severely injured by one of your officers. We don't want any more Joseph Lamatias or Dustin Espinosas or any officers that have been breaking the law. This gotta stop. Have you not heard about Karen Gardner of Loveland, Colorado? She suffered Alzheimer's, and she's been beaten by police because she walked out of Walmart without realizing she forgot to pay $14 for items. And you know what police did to her? They drove her down. She suffered hip and bone and broken bones. And when they drove her to jail cell, they didn't attend to her or realize that she's been injured. And the officers that were in custody, they were rewatching the body cam of her arrest, and they were laughing about it. This gotta stop. People of color, people who are vulnerable, the homeless, they are in fear of the police because they know that the police are nothing more than bullies and thugs with a badge and a gun. And they're not being held accountable. They're protected by law, so they will never be accountable.
Ramon?
And this gotta stop.
Ramon,
Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Kyle Seaver.
Hello, how's everybody doing?
Doing okay.
Good. I was calling, would like an update on a mural for Trevor Seaver in downtown Modesto. Also like an update on getting Trevor a statue. I'd also like an update on making December 29th Trevor Seaver Day to bring awareness to police brutality. Yeah, we still need an independent civilian review board. We still need a mental health crisis team like Cahoots. Intern Chief Gillespie still needs to step down. Bill Zalosky, you still need to step down. I don't understand what Modesto Police Department's doing as far as hiring officers that can't pass a psych exam. There's Officer Michael Busick of Modesto Police Department, failed his psych exam over 14 times for passing a psych exam to get into the force. Same psych exam that Joseph Lamatia also had to take over 13 or 14 times between the 7 people that he shot. You have to take an exam the day that you shoot somebody, the day you come back to work. Blows my mind that 2 officers have been given 30 psych exam tests. It's unacceptable. If somebody's mentally unfit for the job, they're mentally unfit for the job. We can't just let somebody retake a test until they pass it and give them a gun and a badge. It's ridiculous. We see it in people like Joseph Lamatia who are running around killing people. You guys need to take accountability. We know what's going on. Somebody needs to step up and do something. Obviously, it's not going to be the intern chief police who lies about victims who have just been murdered by his serial killer cops. I don't know what you guys are doing. But you guys need to start doing something because we're not going nowhere. We're getting stronger and smarter by the day.
All right. Thank you. I don't see, oh, sorry. Sorry, Stephen Allen.
Good evening. You guys can hear me, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to reiterate some extremely crucial ideas related to police accountability in Modesto. And I want to start by reminding everyone that this is not a new issue. So just in case anybody thinks that all of a sudden there's a bunch of people raving mad about, all these like ridiculous changes, this town, regardless of how much you guys might want people to believe otherwise, has a history. There have been police officers convicted of molesting, raping their own daughters. There have been police officers not only committing acts of violence, but getting right back out on the street in a matter of no time. So I'm not going to go over the exhaustive history of all of the evil that has taken place in this city, but I wanted to point that out to make sure that we center all of our discussions on that established reality. It is not up for debate. I just wanted to reiterate my concern. We all, as Americans in Modesto and everywhere in this country, see a pattern when there are incidences of police brutality or situations where there's a question of propriety or maybe excessive force. We see the same sort of actions from police departments and city leadership everywhere. The first reaction is to try to sweep it under the rug by buying time and by controlling the narrative. We just recently saw an example of a judge refusing to release body cam footage after, 7 deputies put on leave after a black man was killed being shot in the back of the head. We see numerous occasions, including here in Modesto, with Alonzo Nunez. We see countless situations where police officers are allowed to beat the holy crap out of community members. Never in a million years should a police officer shoot someone in the back of the head that is not definitively and clearly trying to do serious harm to someone else. Additionally, closed fist punches in the face are a disgrace to everyone. I don't see or hear a thing being done to acknowledge the injustice perpetrated upon Mr. Nunez in this town. As we move forward, I just want to let all of you guys know that we have not forgotten that what is completely crucial to the progress in this situation is that we do not have an ongoing situation like we have already had involving District Attorney Flanagan, various police chiefs of the Modesto Police Department, and so on and so forth, including members of the council that I'm speaking to presently, where all you do is just cover up and sweep things under the rug. So as we move forward, I just want to remind you that it is 100% crucial that the police do not be allowed to investigate, the police. No brainer, right? I don't understand why none of you can come out and just acknowledge that as we move forward, there is no accountability when criminals get to protect themselves. Alex Bettis is an investigator for District Attorney Flanagan, who is supposed to have been investigating Joseph LaMantia, who plainly ambushed and publicly executed our beloved community member Trevor Seaver. This is all black and white, clear as day. This is silliness.
Right.
I want to hear you guys make a commitment as we move forward that we need implement an independent review board, that they will have subpoena power, that there will be an independent auditor, and that we will put in place a system similar to Cahoots that is acknowledged by the will of the people so that we can have healthcare when healthcare is needed and not public executions just for personal vendettas.
Stephen?
Everyone in this room knows that Joseph LaMantia murdered Trevor because he wanted to. Let's not act like children as we move forward. I just want to remind you that these demands are what the people need. And I do not want to see you guys playing games and pretending like the police investigating themselves counts as police accountability. I'm tired of lies. I'm tired of Gillespie being allowed to manipulate the public by telling lies I'm pretty sure there's got to be a law against that. It's okay. He's a cop, so it doesn't count. And we have not forgotten about your disgusting comments, Councilmember Zalaki. You don't want to address the need for public, mental health, but we have officers in the Modesto Police Department who can't even pass psyche evals. And you want to just mock people with needs and call them crazy people. And you want to turn around and blame innocent victims of murder? Shame on you. No, I have not forgotten. And you need to step down, because this city cannot be led by someone as disgustingly, fond of violence and murder as yourself. And
Stephen?
Chief Gillespie, you will not be allowed to lie to this community and still have a job. Thank you.
Thank you. Marla Seaver?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello. Trevor was my nephew. I've called him several times, but I'm calling regarding police. I have many friends who wear a badge. I have many friends who have retired from law enforcement, and I've spoken with some of them. They are all behind me. They have all seen the video, and they have all said it was murder. The sad thing is this one officer, and unfortunately he's not the only one, I'm sure there's a few more, but this one officer is making not only the city of Modesto look bad, but Modesto Police Department look bad. I have worked with Modesto in the legal field for over 24 years, and so I do see both sides of things, because there are more than one side. What is truly upsetting to me is they're hiring officers who should never wear a badge. And I truly believe Lamontia, once he got that badge, he's like, hey, I can go murder who I want. I'm not gonna be convicted. And you know what? We didn't. And that is why Trevor is dead, because nobody saw this bad cop with a dirty, hairy mentality out there murdering people instead of getting them help and going on. We have cops that are actually quitting law enforcement altogether because they don't want to be associated. We have an officer on the force who won when he was going through the academy at UOP, could not pass his psych eval, so they had to pay an outside force person to pass him. And now he cannot, or he did not for a while, pass Modesto PD psych eval. Why is he on the force? And if they let him, take the test many, many times, I'm sure there's other police officers. I think all of you need to request every single officer's information on how many times it took them to pass their psych eval. And because how many of them are going to have that dirty, hairy mentality, say, hey, I got a badge, I can commit, as many murders. Nobody's going to fire me. Nobody's going to prosecute me. You guys really need to look at that, because I did love this city. I do love my job, but I'd like to get out of here as soon as possible, because I don't feel this city loves its citizens and those of us that live here. So please think about that. I really do think Gillespie needs to really have somebody go fine-tooth comb through every personnel file and see how long is it taking, and not do like he did a year or so ago, where he was offering a bonus, I think it was $5,000 or $10,000, come work for MPD. Because again, how many more murderers wearing a badge did he hire? Thank you, and have a good evening.
Thank you.
No one else?
Doesn't look like there's anyone else. Sure. Is there anyone else in person wishing to speak under public comment?
Can I express why I'm here?
Sure. You can step right up.
In the midst of all our problems in our cities,
I thank God for the ministry of the Salvation Army and William Booth. I'm a street evangelist that has always been friends with the Salvation Army. Just a few blocks from here, they were down across, just a few blocks down from the bus transit center. And I love their motto, holiness unto the Lord. And they know it's the grace of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ that transforms all of us, whether police or street thugs, or they just lift up Jesus. All of us need the Lord. It's still Easter season. We haven't even come to the Ascension yet. I pray that all of you come to know His grace and His transforming love. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found, but blind. 'Twas blind, but now I see. The reason I'm here is because I have a deep love for that old Salvation Army building down there. It's all closed up. And before the last major left, he hinted that they might be moving out of there. And it's abandoned, and they've moved everything over to the Barbarian shelter down there by the river and the bridge there. And this, I don't know if I'm even at the right place, but I went and talked to them, and they just said something about how the Salvation Army doesn't own the building anymore, that the city owns it or something. And I was curious what they were going to do with it, and before they left, I says, could it be possible that I could have a key to it as an evangelist? I have fond memories of like the old Methodist street circuit riders preaching to the crowds that used to meet for lunch out in the courtyard there at lunchtime, sharing Jesus with them. And well, anyway, apparently the city owns it now, and this is a wild request. I'm as poor as the people that own it, but I was wondering that it's like the Salvation Army motto, holiness to the Lord. That it's not just an ordinary building. There's a sanctuary there, a holy sanctuary, where they used to have services for worship, for prayer, for pulpit preaching, and instead of rip it down, is there a possibility that you could let me have the key to the facility and keep it as a sanctuary, a soul-winning sanctuary of blessing the other homeless people, working in cooperation with the Salvation Army to the glory of God and the blessing of the city and the amazing grace of Jesus? I'll just say that if anyone wants to communicate or talk with me afterwards, you can, but that's the reason I'm here, because I don't really know who to talk to
Sure.
About
what
that.
we can do is get your contact information, and then someone can answer that question for you. Find out exactly which building you're talking about, and find out who owns it.
Yeah.
Because we can't answer that right here, but we will do that.
I'll talk to you afterwards, because I don't even. This is where I was directed
Sure.
to come to mention it.
Great.
Because
Thank you
they
for
said
being here.
that the city bought it with plans, and I think it ought to stay a holy it's a sanctuary. It's not like knocking down a building. It's a sanctuary that you ought to leave holy to the Lord, and I'm willing to keep it going.
All right, we will
Salvation
follow up.
Army.
Yes, we will follow up. Thank you. Thank you for your comments. All right, is there anyone else who has not spoken that would like to come forward under public comments? I don't see anyone at this time, so will the city clerk please read the consent items?
Item number 2, consider approving the minutes from the April 27th, 2021 council meeting. Item 3, consider accepting an informational report for the March 2021 accounts payable, payment register, and void report. Item 4, consider accepting the monthly investment report for February 2021. Item 5, consider approving the award of bids for 6 city fleet replacements for the Utilities Department, Public Works, and Modesto Police Department in the amount of $464,350. Item 6, consider approving the sole source agreement with Badger Meter for the purchase of Badger water meters, automated meter readers, and related parts for an annual estimated cost of $600,880. Item 7, consider approving the submission of an application for the fiscal year 2021 CAL FIRE Rural Fire Capacity Program Grant in an amount that will not exceed $40,000, which includes a 50% local match for the procurement of wildland firefighting equipment. Item 8, consider approving an agreement with Carollo Engineers for engineering services for the Operations Guidance Model Project in the amount of $182,925 for the identified scope of services, plus $18,293 in additional services if needed. And on item 9, consider approving the transfer of real property of a well site in Salida from Stanislaus County to the City of Modesto per quitclaim deed.
Move to approve all consent items.
Second.
All right, I have a motion from Councilmember Knoyer, a second from Councilmember Wright. Would the city clerk please call the roll?
Councilmembers Madrigal,
Aye.
Ricky,
Aye.
Zalaki,
Aye.
Knoyer,
Aye.
Wright,
Aye.
Iskeisha Brayton,
Aye.
Mayor Swallen.
Aye. Carries unanimously. Do any of the council members have any comments and reports?
I do, Mayor.
All right,
If you-
Councilmember Scudia Brayton.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I also would like to take a few minutes to bring attention to today, May the 4th, being National Firefighter Recognition Day. I would like to, in particular, just give a tremendous thank you to our brave men and women who put their lives at stake every day for the safety of our Modesto community. In particular, I would greatly appreciate if you would join me just for a few seconds of silence so that we could honor those brave men and women who have unfortunately died while serving our community in the capacity of their firefighting. So if you would be so kind, just bow your heads just for a few seconds in honor of those firefighters not with us today. Thank you. And thank you, Chief Ernst, for your dedication and that of your team. And once again, the brave men and women that make up the Modesto firefighters and keep our communities safe and our families intact. Appreciate it. That's all, Mayor. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Madrigal.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'll try to be brief. A couple of things wanted to share with the council. Last week, I attended the League of Cities Board of Directors meeting. I serve on the Board of Directors of the League of California Cities, who has been going through a rebranding, by the way. They're referring to themselves as Cal Cities from now on. So if you hear that, it's still the league, but it's still the league. However, they're calling themselves Cal Cities. Wanted to share they're still making great progress on the advancing equity work, which will result in information, toolkit, resources for all of our cities to go through our own process of addressing equity, race, systemic racism within our institutions. In addition to that, wanted to share that they informed us that anytime this week, all the U.S. Department of Treasury will be providing additional guidance on how to spend the American Rescue Plan Act funding. And so we may have already received it. I don't know if when the city manager gets to his comments, he might have even more news. However, I was encouraged to hear that the U.S. Department of Treasury will be releasing that additional guidance this week. Lastly, wanted to share that I also attended the inaugural statewide illegal dumping conference, which was hosted virtually by Alameda County Supervisor Nate Miley. And it was a very wonderful conference. It had three components that I thought were very helpful. Enforcement, eradicate, and educate. And I composed a memo with a survey attached that Supervisor Miley did in Alameda County to just kind of assess and explore solutions by asking the citizenry directly about their experience with illegal dumping of trash in their community. And hopefully it's something that our Blight Advisory Committee might be able to use as a tool when they get started. In addition, I think that was it. That was all of it. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Ricky?
Oh, thanks, Mayor. Just want to say, hey, we're on the edge of some really good things happening in town. I'm looking forward to the upcoming meeting on policing. I'm looking forward just for us all to kind of come together and find solutions. You know, we really need this Cahoots program, this Cahoots style program in this community. We need a new posture in this community, and we can do this because we have to do this. So I'm just looking forward to getting together, discussing it, and trying to make it happen. I'm also just really excited about the overall outlook of where we're going. I mean, it looks like we have the potential to finally fix forestry, make some real gains there, and fix our urban canopy. We have a chance to encourage more housing throughout our community. We're 20,000 units down right now in housing, which is causing apartments to cost, you know, crappy apartment for $1,300 a month. We are at a critical juncture right now. We as a council need to do something about it. That means pushing forward ADUs, that means getting more affordable housing, and that means getting housing downtown. We can do that. I'm excited that we're looking at it. Looks like we might be able to rebuild public access television and internet production. That's really exciting. And we also are seeing massive economic improvements coming down with like the new CDC that's being developed and maybe a civic bank. So it's a really exciting time to be on the council. I want to thank all my fellow council members for all the work they're doing, and I just look forward to keep working with y'all. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you. Any other comments or reports? All right. Seeing none, no hands raised.
Mayor, I don't have a hand that goes up.
Okay, all right. Councilmember Canoia.
Sorry.
No problem.
Yeah, for some reason, I don't have, I just want to comment a little bit on what you said earlier today about Marie Gallo. And one reason why I want to comment on it is that I knew Marie since we were both 5 years old, and so for 81 years we have been friends. She has been an incredible influence on on her family and on us and on the city, and she will be greatly missed, and she will be greatly missed by her family, and I want us to keep them in our prayers.
Thank you, Jenny. Right. Does the city manager have any comments and reports? All right. Next on the agenda is new business, and we will go to item 10 on the agenda. Consider approving the Second Amendment, increasing the agreement amount with Grover Landscape Services Incorporated, Modesto, California, for landscape services by $3,457,775 from $9,584,472 to a new total amount of $13,042,247 and extending the term of the agreement for 1 year from October 24th, 2021 to October 24th, 2022. And we will have Lori Smith
Thank
do
you,
the
Mayor.
presentation. You're welcome.
Members of the City Council, Lori Smith, Director of Parks, Recreation, and Neighborhoods. As the Mayor said, this item is the Second Amendment to the Grover Landscaping Agreement. So, in 1516, the City Manager authorized the Purchasing Manager to issue a formal RFP for landscape maintenance services. Then, in October of 2016, Council authorized an agreement with Grover Landscape Services to provide landscape maintenance services for parks, right-of-ways, and mediums. And in February of 2019, the Council approved a First Amendment increasing the agreement amount by approximately $1.2 million for a total amount of $9.58 to service additional sites, unanticipated and emergency repairs, and extra work. So the First Amendment established limits for the following categories. There was $60,000 for annually for irrigation repairs and miscellaneous work, $12,000 annually for service level increases, $6,200 for unanticipated repairs and extra work. Over the last couple of years, we've noticed that these limits have been exceeded because of the growing amount of unanticipated or emergency work. And so one of the things the Second Amendment will do is to remove those limits, and we'll be monitoring the overall expenses. So this chart here shows you an example of where the money over the last 4.5 years was spent that caused this agreement to reach its spending authority. We've added 21 sites. You can see that's almost $650,000. There was also a significant amount of sprinkler and irrigation repairs, almost $230,000. And then we had the addition of landscape maintenance for bins. And you can see the other items, well renovation work, weed control, and some tree work as well. So the current amount of the contract is $9.3 million. There's approximately $197,000 remaining. So what we're requesting tonight is a 1-year extension pending the issuance of a new RFP next year. The agreement does provide for a 5-year extension. However, we're only asking for a 1 year, so another RFP can be issued. In addition to that, Grover has requested a 2.6% increase during the 1-year extension period that will be based on the Consumer Price Index. The existing agreement does allow for a cost of living adjustment beginning in year 4, and that had not been exercised yet. This is the first increase that they've asked for in this contract period. So the total amount needed to extend this contract through October of 2024 is $3.5 million. The fiscal impact, this is a summary of the fiscal impact of the contract since the original agreement. The annual agreement was $1.67 million. Total contract amount over 5 years was $8.3 million. The First Amendment increased that to $2 million annually for a total 5-year period of $9.5 million. We are asking for this increase of $3.5 million approximately. The majority of that will be used for the regular monthly maintenance cost. We have approximately $220,000 for additional repairs and unanticipated work, and we currently have approximately $197,000 remaining in the budget. This item went to the Finance Committee on April 26th, not August, and the committee approved staff's recommendation to amend the agreement term to October 24th of 2022, increase the total contract amount by $3.45 million for a total amount of $13.042 million, and to allow for the increase of 2.6% for the cost of living adjustment. So tonight, we're asking the council to adopt a resolution approving the Second Amendment that increases the agreement amount for landscape services by $3,457,775 from $9,584,472 to a new total amount of $13,042,247, and extending the term of the agreement for 1 year from October 24th, 2021 to October 24th, 2022, and authorizing the city manager or his designee to execute the agreement. And with that, I will be happy to answer any questions.
All right, any questions from the council? This is questions. Councilmember Wright?
Yes, Lori, thank you for your report. What are the 21 additional sites? Are those sites that they did not bid on originally? Are they new sites that we've added on to the city or what?
Yeah, they've been added over the life of the last 4.5 years. And there are a variety of locations, anything from a CFD park to additional medians and other areas throughout the city, of property the city owns that needed maintenance and landscaping.
Okay, thank you.
I believe some of them are also for like wells and tank sites as well.
That's correct.
All right, Councilmember Ricky?
I believe he's on mute.
You're on mute, I believe.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
Does this include forestry at all? Any additional forestry services?
We do have a small amount of funding in this agreement for some tree work, but nothing, nothing significant that can do the tree maintenance work that we need in our parks. This is a very small amount of money.
And it's just for parks only, right?
The tree,
yeah.
yes.
Right. Any other questions from council members? Seeing none, any comments from the public? Seeing none, any comments from the council?
Motion to approve?
All right, we have a motion to approve by Councilmember Wright.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Escudia-Brayton. Would the city clerk please call the roll?
Councilmembers Madrigal,
Aye.
Ricky, Councilmember Ricky,
Aye.
Zalaki,
Aye.
Canoyer,
Aye.
Wright,
Aye.
Escutia Brayton,
Aye.
Mayor Swallen.
Aye. Carries unanimously. Thank you very much. Are there any matters too late for the agenda? Seeing none, I am calling this meeting of the City Council adjourned.